So for today's review, I'm not reviewing a movie, but instead I'm reviewing a TV show, that being the 5th and final season of Samurai Jack. And unlike my other movie reviews, this one will just be a straight up audio review, with the only image that you see before you is just the promo image. But anywho, when I first heard that this season was announced, I looked forward to it, but also was scared for it, because recently, anytime Cartoon Network has tried to either revive or reboot a old TV show, the results have been disastrous, with the recent reboots of TV shows like the Powerpuff Girls to Teen Titans Go, and even rebooting TV shows that I really don't think need a reboot, like Ben 10. But then this came out, and when they said they were making the show, they said it's not going to be a reboot, it's going to be the continuation of the previous series. Because when you do go back to watch the last episode of season 4, it doesn't really have a satisfying ending. If anything, it's very anticlimactic because it just kind of ends. Because the last episode of that season was Jack is tearing around his baby and just fights a bunch of bounty hunters. That's about it. It's like, really? That's the way you got in that season? And after that, the dude who made the TV show was like, yeah, we probably should have some kind of proper conclusion to it. But Cartoon Network at the time wanted to focus on making the Star Wars, the Clone Wars 2D micro series, not the 3D animated show. And sometime after that, the creator of the show actually wanted to make a film that would have served as the proper conclusion to the story of Samurai Jack. And this hasn't been in development hell for some time. And, well, as you can see here, we never got that movie, but instead we got a revival in the form of season 5 of Samurai Jack, 13 years after the 4th season concluded. And with Samurai Jack now finally done, was season 5 a good way to end the TV series? As for the plot of season 5 of Samurai Jack, the story takes place 50 years after the events of season 4 of Samurai Jack, and Samurai Jack himself is still continuing his quest to defeat Aku and set everything right. However, this time around, he lost his magical sword, the one thing that could kill Aku. And if that wasn't bad enough, Aku keeps sending countless assassins after him. However, after battling countless assassins sent by Aku, Samurai Jack soon joins forces with an unlikely ally, to the point that it gives him a new sense of purpose, thus allowing him and his new ally to continue his quest to free the past, present, and future from Aku's grasp. In terms of what I liked about this season of Samurai Jack, the animation style is extremely consistent with that of the first 4 seasons, because my one big worry for this season was that I was afraid it was going to be all cel-shaded or CGI. Thankfully, they kind of kept that 2D style that the original 4 seasons had. Granted, there's some moments here and there where they use cel-shading or CG, but it's used very little throughout the entire season, which is for a good thing. Also, the color palette that this season has going for it is colorful to look at as well. I also like how mature the series is, because if I had to compare this series to Samurai Jack, it's kind of like Logan in the sense of how violent and mature it is, but the mature level to it, it's not like the one seen in Logan where you have Hugh Jackman's character dropping the F-bomb left and right. No, Jack in this series does not drop the F-bomb, thankfully. It's more mature in its themes, because the overall theme of the season is the hero's journey and the identity of the hero when their journey stagnates, because it also focuses on choices, and the lack of choices are explored here. Because there's several points in time where you have Jack sitting there by himself, and then all of a sudden he might be talking to his subconsciousness, introspecting previous actions that got him to that point in time. And I also love the reaction of him battling this group of assassins that were sent by a cult that worships Aku, because this new group of assassins, known as the Daughters of Aku, are basically women who were born and raised to kill Jack. So since they were designed to be essentially the anti-Jack of the series, whereas Jack was raised to be designed to kill Aku in the end. So, in a sense, I like that parallel between both Jack and his new group of assassins. And on top of that, I like his reaction when he kills one of them, because he was expecting it just to be a machine. But then upon seeing blood, this freaked him out. He's like, I never killed a human before. What am I gonna do now? Am I gonna, let them kill me, or do I have to kill them? I'm not sure now. I love his reaction to this, because between the first 4 seasons, he's used to fighting either machines or mystical creatures. Humans, not so much. Or when he does fight against a human, they typically live to tell another tale. And another thing that worried me about this season of Samurai Jack was whether or not Aku's got talk at all, because the original voice actor, Mako, died. I forgot how long ago, but it's been a while now. And so there was some debate whether or not Aku this season was going to either talk at all, but the creators thought that because Aku had such an iconic voice that it'd be best if they just got a replacement actor. And the guy that they got to do Aku's new voice this time around is the same guy that played General Iroh for the third season of Avatar: The Last Airbender when Mako passed all them years ago. And the voice takes some getting used to, but it gets the job done. And also Aku is really comical, and I do find him entertaining, but it does provide some tonal whiplash because you have this series which is primarily dark and mature, yet then you have Aku, who's supposed to be essentially evil incarnate, where he acts really comical most of the time. Granted, he's extremely funny, but it's not the same kind of Aku that I grew to love back in the first 4 seasons. Like, the only time Aku this season felt like Aku from the first 4 seasons was during the first 4 to 5 minutes of the last episode of this series, because he's both threatening and comical within that episode. But as Aku stands, he's still pretty entertaining. You just have to get used to his voice. In terms of what I disliked about the season of Samurai Jack, it comes from more the latter half of the season. Well, the aspects that comes to mind is the way certain subplots end, because at the start of the season, there's a lot of subplots introduced, and most of them have very intriguing ideas. For example, Jack losing his sword. You don't learn about how he lost his sword till midway through, and when you do learn of the event, something about it was just underwhelming, because this is the event that not only made him lose his sword, but also made him become more aggressive. And I'm sitting there watching the event fold out in a flashback format, and I was like, really? This is the event that not only made you lose your sword, but push you over the edge? Really? Again, it just seems so anticlimactic. And that's how some of these subplots end. Then also, some of the new characters introduced within this series have a lot more screen time than returning characters. Like, the Scotsman only appears in 2 episodes and only meets Jack for about 20 seconds. And I was really disappointed about this. Like, I was kind of hoping that we would have seen more interaction between this older Jack with this older Scotsman, or at least have a whole episode dedicated to those two just join forces to fight something related to Aku. And some of the episodes aren't as well paced as others. For example, episode 6, I actually do like episode 6, but it's just those last 5 minutes that ruin it for me. Because the whole episode is basically the new character seeing a bunch of other characters that Jack met throughout the first 4 seasons, but I feel like the last 5 minutes should have been an episode in of itself. And also, there's one other episode that came to mind that I could have done without, that being episode 8, because the episode itself does not add anything to the overarching story of season 5, and the last 20 seconds of the entire episode pissed me off, because the relationship between Jack and this new character, let's just say that there's no absolute build-up to this particular moment in which they do, and it's one of those things where I was really hoping that it wouldn't go in that direction, but they did. And also, the last episode, as awesome as it is, I feel should have either been 2 episodes or should have been a 40-minute episode, because so much happens, but at the same time, I feel because of the amount of stuff that happens, it kind of ruins the overall story of that particular episode, because it's supposed to be the series finale. Like, it should have had a much better send-off. But as it ends, it's not perfect, but it gets the job done. And the final battle between Samurai Jack and Aku is extremely anticlimactic. So for my final verdict of Season 5 of Samurai Jack, if I had to compare this season of Samurai Jack to a movie, it's like the Logan of animated TV shows, in that sense of it's a very dark and mature story that serves as a proper conclusion for one character's journey. That being said, it's far from being perfect, because this season of Samurai Jack does have some problems like pacing issues, along with the way certain subplots end, and I do think that the final episode should have either been 2 episodes or should have been 40 minutes in length, but overall overall, the fifth and final season of Samurai Jack is really good. Granted, it's not perfect, but at the same time, I'm very content with the way this season ends the overall series of Samurai Jack. Now, normally at this point, I would sit here and go, but before I give my final rating, what did everyone else have to say about Samurai Jack or whatever? But since this is a TV show, I'm gonna skip that little formality and go straight for the gizzard. That being, for my overall rating of Season 5 of Samurai Jack, I give it a 4 out of 5. So, between Seasons 1 through 5, what was your favorite episode from Samurai Jack? Or if you can't think of one, what's your most fondest memory of Samurai Jack? And see you later.